Hello, and welcome to an overview of the Laker Elementary Art Program for the 2013-2014 school year. My name is Jamie Schaefer. I'm the art teacher at Laker Elementary, and this is my first year there. I graduated from Blissfield High School and received my Bachelor's of Science in Education from Central Michigan University, where I met my husband, Matt. I'm currently working on my Master's in Instructional Technology through Saginaw Valley State University. See the picture of my wonderful family there, Brooke and Josh. We'll start right off with why we need art. Art is not only important for fine motor skills like holding the paintbrush or using scissors, it's also important for many other areas of childhood development, learning their colors and learning about the different things that you can do with paper and with paint and making things look nice. Art strengthens your problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills, and your visual and spatial awareness. How am I going to fit this together? How am I going to make this project work? Is a lot of the things that I see kids asking me, how do I do this? But what if I do this? It really forces them to think beyond the pencil and paper. It also strengthens the sense of inventiveness. The kids get creative and think, well, what if I had did this differently? Or how can I make this look better? How can I be more creative with my project? As well as their academic performance. The art kind of helps tie in some of those problem-solving skills to help them with the math and the language arts and whatnot. Next we have two pictures of the art room. The first one is the front of the classroom, and I've got some big poster prints up there. You see the color wheel off to the right, and some projects hanging from the ceiling. Those are some snowmen that my kindergartners made. And then at the back of the room, there's all the different posters of different artists and different paintings and whatnot, just trying to get the kids exposed to what's out there. And I do try and change these out every once in a while so they're getting something new to see. And it's amazing when the kids line up at the end of class, how many of them are like, ooh, look at this one, or this lady, what's her name? The Mona Lisa there. They're curious, they want to know. So I try and keep changing things to keep them interested, give them something new to look at. A lot of what we do in art is we kind of work with some of the theme days, the holidays and the seasons. We also do things for Veterans Day. You see the Veterans Day bulletin board up there. Just trying to get the kids to realize, that art has a purpose, and by decorating, you're kind of going out there and saying thank you, and realizing that you're ready for the holiday, getting ready to celebrate. We just recently did Dr. Seuss's birthday, which was Sunday, March 2nd, and I had my kids, they painted with cornstarch, and it makes the water look shiny in the fish bowls there. And along with that, we tied into literature, and I read them One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, and the other class I read The Cat in the Hat, and they made a Dr. Seuss hat out of a paper plate. So they got to paint on a paper plate. And they're always fascinated when I bring in those unique things, the paper plates, or we've used coffee filters before, and they think, well, that's a coffee filter. I said, well, it is a coffee filter, but what can we do with it? What can we do with that paper plate? So it's not a paper plate anymore. Kind of encouraging them to think outside the box. We also have National Very Hungry Caterpillar Day coming up that we'll be working on with the DK and the kindergartners. And right now we're in March's Reading Month, and it's Camp Lakers. That's our theme. So we're trying to do some camping type themes. And a lot of these things that's what I do with the DK and the kindergarten, maybe the first grade, is some of the regular art things. And when I get into the upper grades, that's when we kind of branch out into the artists. Here's one of the projects we did in September. It was National Talk Like a Pirate Day. And so I talked a little bit about, what a pirate might say. And we painted their hand there. Very meticulous painting there, the red and the black on the hat. And then the next time they came back, I had them design a pirate ship. Just different things like that we aim for with the DK and kindergarten. We also work on the community bulletin boards. I've been doing a lot of the handprint projects. I know as a parent I always like to see my kids handprint because I can watch it from year to year. So we do that for our community bulletin boards. We did the whole turkey background there with the kids' handprints, and they enjoy it. They really like getting their hand in that paint. And we talk about tie-ins with our community, what our community does for us, and what we do for our community, and how making these bulletin boards is just a way to make the community people happy, make them smile, and just say thank you. We're working on a Think Spring one right now, making flowers. I talk a lot about the artist that we have, and you'll see the pictures down on the right. All those big posters come from the Midland Center for the Arts. They're on loan to us as part of the Picture Parent program. And that's actually set up for a school that may not have an art program. The You would have a parent volunteer bring in a couple of the prints by one artist, and they would have a discussion with the kids. You know, what do you see in this painting? What do you think is happening? What colors did the artist use? And then they might go ahead and tell a little bit about the artist, and we try and tie it in with the project too. And we'll get a whole new set of those next year. And it gives the kids something different to look at. We see Monet picture up there in the on the top right, and then on the bottom right you'll see the Juan Moreau, and we'll talk about him in a little bit too. But it's a great program. All the posters come with a binder with activities and tidbits about the artist and what people have done in the past with these prints. This is one of them that we worked with back in the fall. Andrew Wyeth. His style is realism. We talk about the style of art that the artist did, and we talk about how they painted it. You know, if they painted short strokes or long strokes, and whether it looks real. We stress realism. The picture looks real. And we talk about the colors and what season, and just the girl there. What do we think she's doing? The picture on the left is called The Scarecrow, and we focused on that one a lot because I had the kids make new scarecrows for Mr. Wyeth's farm, and they got a kick out of that, thinking that this old scarecrow here didn't even have a head, and here they're making a new scarecrow for him. And then I like to put everything up on bulletin boards so that the other kids can see what the other grades are doing, and I usually put a little tidbit about the artist and about how we did this. Here's another one that we've done, Juan Moreau. Surrealism. Talk about surrealism with the kids, how it's using their imagination and making things that are left open for interpretation. You see the nice bright colors there and the use of shapes. And the stick figures. They get a kick out of drawing a stick figure in art class, because I guess you're not supposed to do that in art class. And then you see on the right, you see some of our masterpieces that were, again, out on a bulletin board. And the kids, they go all out. The one has a mustache on it. The one guy looks like he's gold mining. They really get into it, and they really put their imagination into it. We've had a series of family nights out at the school. I think the first one was movie night, and then we had cultural night. We have science night coming up. And with cultural night, I tried to get some more culture out in our hallway. And you see the Chinese lanterns up there and the Chinese dragons, which tied into the Chinese New Year. At the cultural night, we actually had a Russian puppet show come in, and it was the Russian story of the gingerbread man, and that was pretty neat. And then the puppeteers stayed around, and the whole school got to see it the next morning. We also had a presenter there that brought, I think, over 90 instruments from around the globe, and he passed them out and had the kids playing them, taught them how to play them, and then they did a ceremonial dance through the cafeteria and had a good time playing with these different instruments that we've never seen before. In the art room, we took a quick look at how other cultures use art. We talked about how the Chinese lanterns they used to decorate for parties, and how they have all these Chinese symbols on them that tell a story. And then the kids had a handout, and they looked at the symbols and tried to make their own story on their lantern. So we try and teach them what the concept is, or how that culture used those things, along with, you know, here's something pretty to look at. The fourth graders made these African masks that they got really into, really detailed. And I had kids make a totem pole, And then another grade made teepees and had it all up on one bulletin board, so you kind of got a whole feel for what a Native American village might look like. As I said, our next family night is math and science night. It is coming up Thursday, March 20th. They'll have lots of student projects on display. It'll kind of look like a science fair. And they're planning on having engineering challenge centers around for the kids to partake in. And they also would like to have engineers on hand to talk about what their jobs and what their day looks like and how they use the math and the science that the kids need to focus on now, how they use those in their job. One thing that I like to focus on is trying to tie art into the curriculum, because by learning about something, say in science, and then they come to art and they get that hands-on experience, it really helps to strengthen the concept that they're learning and help the child remember what they're learning. And also by making it hands-on, you're engaging another part of the brain. The kids will remember, oh yeah, in art class we did the landforms, and the valley was deep and blue, and it helps give them a visual to the concept that they're working on. The second graders have made a landform flip book, and my fifth graders right now are working on paper macheing planets that they're painting them this week. They just paper macheed them last week. They're not quite to the solar system yet, so we're learning about some of this in science or in art as we go along. They had to bring their iPads today to figure out what colors and how they needed to make, the ring of Saturn look, and they were getting pretty detailed painting Earth and trying to get those landforms just right. And when this is all done, we'll hang it up for that science night in the hallway for everyone to see. And then the teacher plans on hanging it in her classroom for a visual so they can talk about the sun and see it overhead, to help to tie that all in and give them a big visual. The fourth graders last week made 3D shapes. We talked a little bit about 3D and what is D? What does that mean? The dimension, and they're learning about length times width and area and perimeter. They're learning about all that in math right now. So we drew three-dimensional shapes last week, and then we made the 3D shapes out of little pieces of construction paper they had to fold and glue. You see some of those there. And we'll hang those from the ceiling as well for the math and science night. Another way that we try and tie art into the curriculum is by working with the DK and the kindergarten teachers with their letter of the week. Each week they have a different letter. They have homework. They have to try and come up with things that start with the letter P, for instance. And I try to learn to figure out what letter they're working on and do a project with that. Here I had to save up lots of water bottles, and we made these cute little water bottle penguins. Something else I'm trying to do, it's kind of hard, but to bring technology into the art room. I mentioned that we had the kids bring in the iPads so that they could get an accurate painting of the planet. I've also tried to use those when we do some of our artist studies. I have the kids bring in their iPad, and I have a website, just a quick little website that I've set up, and they go to my website and they click on the YouTube or Art Babble video, and they watch the video of maybe there's a painting that they focus on and they talk about the painting. Or we just watched one on Monet and how he painted over 200 paintings of water lilies, and he had this elaborate garden made in his backyard. And it's very different from hearing me talk about it, because there was a visual and they could see all these different paintings, over 200 paintings, and see these great works of art that Monet did out in his museum. I mean, some of them are 40 feet wide. So it definitely helps to help them learn a little bit more. And the Museum of Modern Art, I've found, has a great interactive website aimed mostly at younger grades, but still it helps to get the kids out of the art room, show them what else is out there and not just Mrs. Schaefer and her paintings on the wall there. If you like anything that you've seen tonight, we do have a Facebook site and a Pinterest site. put on by Tracy Weisenbach, our PR representative. It's EPBP Lakers on Facebook. You can like the group and you'll get pictures in your feed, not only art, but a lot of the school things that are happening. Or you can follow us on Pinterest, and that one is EPBP Lakers on Pinterest, and that is a lot of the art projects that not only that we do, but what the junior high and high school do. And I have a couple of references where I took some pictures from the juanmoreau.com site and the